Hello kids. Today I want to teach you a literacy skill. I know what you're thinking. Literacy sounds really boring and it sounds a little complicated. But in reality, all literacy means is your ability to read and write. Now obviously, like everything else in life, there's varying levels of difficulty. But we're starting all the way down here at the basement. We're going to talk about the simplest part of literacy today. And I'm going to relate it directly to your social studies content. So, we encounter this word fairly frequently. Let me show you. Now, I'm hoping you're familiar with this. Colonize. Because I talk about it all the time. Throughout your studies in social studies, and when you take the Regents exam, and when you take, I know I don't really give tests per se, but you know, when you do your independent research and do projects and stuff like that, you're going to come across words that you look at and you go, there's something familiar about that. Or I think I know what that means, but there's something different about this word. Well, let's take a look at colonize again. Colonize is what's called the root of the word. And another example could be act. A-C-T, to act. To act would be, the root word. Now, I'm just going to identify what the definition of colonize is again for you, so we can kind of progress with this lesson and you can get a good understanding of what prefix, root word, and suffix are. So, colonize is when you essentially send settlers to establish political control over a foreign land. Now, we have a colonial past as Americans, right? Because we were colonized by, we colonized the New World, right? And then we spent some time in the New World away from our home country, which was Great Britain. And after generation and generation and generation, we started to not really feel that much homage to Great Britain anymore. And we weren't feeling properly represented in British government. So what did we do? Well, we went to war. And we overthrew the yoke of a government that we considered to be tyrannical and oppressive. So, Britain's going to come into play again with this lesson on World War I. Because throughout the duration of this lesson, we're going to talk about Britain, France, and Germany, and how their colonial prowess and intentions and actions not only led up and shaped World War I, but also we're going to try to think about we're going to try to predict the future because we haven't really moved past this point yet. But I want you guys to try to recognize some historical themes after we get a good handle on all this and try to identify some of the things that you think might happen as a result of colonial history with the French, the British, and the Germans. So, back to the root word. Colonize. Now, a good example of something you might see where you go, I know that, but I didn't really see it like that before. Check this out. Recolonization. Okay, so what's the root word in recolonization? Well, to colonize. But it's a little confusing because there's two new parts of the word, right? The re and the shun. Oh, I just kind of revealed a little part of my lesson. It's my fault I skipped over a little bit. And you look at this word here. Colonization. Right? Which, obviously, the root word of colonization is to colonize. And then there's this thing at the end, this T-I-O-N thing. So, if you look at this in its entirety, you have colonize, colonization, and recolonization. Root word is colonize. For colonization, you have a suffix, and for recolonization, you have a prefix and a suffix. No, it's complicated. Let's go back to act. You have act, right? To act is to, pretend, or you're an actor in a movie, or you're an actor on a YouTube channel, or you're portraying a character. And then you have action, right? Now action has what? What's this called? The tion is a suffix. So consider what it means when you go from the word act to the word action, right? Action is implying movement and mobility, and something is occurring. Tion essentially is, again, it's expressing action or state of being. Okay, now let's look at this one. Reaction. Now, in reaction, we have a prefix and we have a suffix. So what the heck does re do? Re mean? What does it mean when you rewind? What does it mean if I tell you to... You guys probably have no idea what rewind means. You privileged young kids. What does it mean when I tell you to respell a word or to rewrite something? Well, you look at the word. You may have spelt it wrong, as I spell things wrong constantly. And you have to do it over again, right? So, reaction. A reaction is, you're surprised, or an action occurs and then you react to it, right? Somebody goes and tries to punch you in the face, and what do? Maybe you cover your face up, or you get in some type of fighting stance. It's a reaction. So I wanted to show you that because not only is action and reaction going to eventually come into play with the themes of history that we're going to talk about in regards to the British, the French, and the Germans in colonization, but also because I wanted to give you a simpler word where you could kind of understand the prefix, the root word, and the suffix a little bit more clearly. Now again, a prefix is just kind of, it adds to be the beginning of the word and kind of changes it. Action, reaction. Word's different. Whereas the root word kind of establishes the definition of what the word actually is. And the suffix is essentially, it expresses an action or a state of being. So, colonize, colonization, and recolonization. So what I want you to do now is I want you to hop on your laptops, and you already have your primary source documents next to you. Don't mess with those, leave them alone. Get on your laptop, and I want you to try to put each of these into a sentence for me. I want you to tell me about your country, whether it's France or Britain, because I'm going to do Germany. I want you to give me an example of France colonizing, or I want you to give me an example or a definition of stating, just using the word colonize in France in the same sentence. I want you to give me a sentence with the word colonization as it relates to France or Britain in it. And I want you to give me a sentence with the word recolonization as it relates to Britain or France. So take that time now. Again, don't worry so much about good historiography. I'm not worried about the accuracy of the historical data that you're going to present right now. What I want you to be able to express to me is that you have a clear understanding of what prefix is, of what root word is, and what suffix is, and I want you to show me that you can use that in a sentence and, in a way that makes sense. All right, so do that now.